If I have a good day, I sing. I sing joyous songs. I write my own music, and like I feel like it's gonna be a good day. I feel like all my dreams are gonna come true just because of the music I'm writing, and I feel like I get to finally let it all out. Imagine all the people living for today.
Most of my art is just random stuff that I just like drawing, but other times I like to have a meaning behind it. Like if there's a police shooting that happens, I like to draw something to represent my anger or my feelings towards it. I get to put what I have in my head, either be negative or positive, just on paper, just like be creative about it, just express how I'm feeling at that time, or just how my day was.
In the fall, I do cross country, and in the spring, I will do track and field, and in like the summer, late spring, I'll do triathlons. There are two distances that I like to do is sprint and Olympic distance. The sprint is like a 400-meter swim-ish, and then 12-mile bike, and then 5K, and then the Olympic is supposed to be 2 times that. I've only done one Olympic distance, and that was last year at the end of the summer, and for that one I would train for like 2, 3, 4 hours a day. But it was really fun. I really loved doing it.
Stress to me is when I start to like panic and start to overthink things, and I feel like I'm in this box that I can't get out of, and it's like getting closer and tighter into me, and there's like no way I can escape.
Stress for me just feels like a weight that just kind of like gets heavier every day and like it's like it feels very constricting, you know?
Just day-to-day stress is just feeling that I need to operate at 110% at all times.
Life gets so much harder for adolescents. Parents are less nurturing and more demanding. They expect more.
School is always like that overhanging cloud.
Every year I get more stressed, obviously.
The whole college experience, applications and stuff, that was stressful.
The amount of stress for kids about grades, about that omnipresent sort of worry about, are my grades going to be good enough? Can I get into college? That's the stress that I think, so many teens are feeling, and really it's hurting.
I started like missing school to the point where like my attendance was a bit sketchy. And the reason for that was just like a lot of other things, like home situations, school situations, things that I have to do after school, and it just all started to pile up.
Like I just can't operate to my full potential. I'm either tired, drowsy, I'm like out of it, just don't want to do anything that I usually do.
If you're in that state all the time, physiologically, the change is profound. When stress gets chronic, you're never really relieving the body of these changes, these physiological changes. They can start to get chronic. In other words, you could get chronically high cortisol levels, and that might interfere with sleep, with concentration. We see it a lot in our patients that come in with complaints of memory loss.
Whenever I go to bed, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll start like wandering my living room, and I feel half asleep, half awake, and like I feel like I can't like walk straight, and like I'm walking around circling my house again and again, and like my heart starts pumping, and like I can feel myself shaking and stuff like that until like I calm myself down and can return to my bed.
Stress initiates a lot of signals. You get the amygdala is an emotional center in the brain, and it sends out a distress signal. You get a flood of adrenaline, and that gets into your bloodstream, and it makes your heart beat fast. And then cortisol levels rise, and together these are preparing the body for battle.
Like sweating, sometimes I'll like kind of just like shake nervously. I'll be kind of antsy and like on edge, but at the same time I get really tired.
Our bodies are designed to deal with challenges in life and responding, with stress hormones, etc. But our bodies are also very well designed to de-stress. And I think that's useful to remember. Each person has to kind of find out what works for them.
I cope with my stress with music. I feel like I finally get to release all the stress that I'm experiencing, and people don't even know that I have stress. So it's kind of like music is like my mask for stress.
A combination of listening to music and drawing, is probably the best thing that I do. I don't know, just like when I'm listening to music and drawing, I'm just in my space and in my head, and it just gives me time to just think about stuff, just like resolve things that I need to resolve in my head. And it's just like a way that I can isolate myself without having to physically isolate myself.
But also, meditation, yoga, exercise in general, it's also helping restore a more normal balance. Exercise
is definitely a big thing for me. If I'm working hard and kind of putting my all into a long distance run or something, my mind kind of just goes blank. I kind of get into this weird meditative place. It's calming in the way that you don't really have to focus on anything.
But then there's also what we're learning as we're growing, and that is how to find your sweet spot, I guess, of what's the right amount of challenge, what's the right amount of stress that feels invigorating and not paralyzing.
Stress is something that everybody deals with, and everybody deals with it a different way. And so once you find your way of dealing with it, it's good to always be able to go back to that.
Some kids will paint, right, or have an artistic outlet to relieve stress. Some kids, like me, will do a sport or physical activity. Some people will, journal or meditate or listen to music or make music. There's something different for everyone that works. It's important to find that and to stick with it, especially because usually it's something that you love to do.